What's up, everybody? My name is Can Scourge. Welcome to the channel. To start off, I've decided to make this channel to get my voice out during these turbulent times. There's a lot going on right now that I'm sure keeps people up at night in the same way that it does me. Ukraine versus Russia, looming economic recession, insane, cronyist governments, and partisan politics, and outright treachery. All this is enough to make anyone scream into the void, but that aside, on a personal level, I've never been able to relate to anyone on a political level. Something that's bothered me since I began my political involvement in my teenage years. I figured this could be a good way to find those people. I've been a fan of a small YouTuber named Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad. I was watching his video, Who I Am and What I Do. I suppose this could be considered a similar video as an introduction into this, what would you call it? I don't know. It's a nice catharsis all the same. Big tech being what it is today, that being censorious, I'm fortunate to not rely on this as my main source of income. By giving my opinion and interpretation of events, I hope to contribute to the conversation and preserve what bit of mental health I have perpetually been grasping at for over a decade. Politics will be an obvious staple of this channel. To clarify where I stand politically, I'll say that I am in favor of policies that keep America a dominant force in the world. It's amazing to me that there are people out there that would hear this and immediately be turned off by this sentiment. I'll not elaborate on why this is a good thing, as all other opinions to the contrary are evidently malicious and assumingly traitorous, but I will elaborate on what I envision when I say this. America's founding was the establishment of a nation seeking liberty and freedom for those who would partake in its construction. To build America was to build your business, your farm, your home, and your legacy at your expense for your benefit. It was your business or farm that your neighbors would purchase from to provide for their family and provide for your own. It was your home that would shelter America's future generation. It was your legacy of responsibility and hard work, assuming you made one, that would provide for the future of the Americans you raised to do the same, if not better. If you could not do for yourself, you were not doing for others. This was a truly free country, where your European peasantry and laborers could themselves be kings with their own plot of land. For America to remain free, violence, subversion, and insurrection against its host nation were necessary. This was accomplished through printed propaganda, private arms and armies, and confederation of its neighboring states. The American colonies forced their benefactors away with sheer conviction and ingenuity. Looking at the past 100 years, at least, since the presidency of Democrat Woodrow Wilson, America has not only limited the capabilities of militias and private citizens to defend themselves and their states and their anything, the United States has also taken the role of the world's kingmaker and tyrant. Have you figured out that I'm fairly libertarian yet? Or should I start quoting Senator Armstrong from Metal Gear Rising?
Fuck all these lunatic lawyers and chicken shit bureaucrats! Fuck American pride! Fuck the media! They'll make America great again!
American diplomacy right now is to squander its economic potential for the sake of a bloated, inefficient, wasteful government military sector that only exists now to funnel tax dollars into the private sector via contractors. A military-industrial complex, you could say, that redistributes wealth from the poor to the rich. Our greatest export at one time was culture. There is enough Hollywood propaganda bleeding money at the box office and Japanese anime raking in gangbusters to indicate that this is no longer the case. I speculate that Hollywood's situation is due in large part to political donors within and without the government, for the purpose of normalizing anti-filial behaviors. It is a product of monopoly and political government interest. I'm not even going to get into the topic of taxes. Please make your most educated inference. A strong America, as I envision it perfectly, is one where regulations and taxes are not placed on the buying and selling of products and services, whether they be guns, drugs, or land. The only regulation is that which encourages you honor your business deals and restricts your use of coercion in these transactions. The only tax is that you provide information on your product free of charge. It is in America where every man can be a king, a merchant, a soldier, or whatever it is he supposes himself to become, no matter his past or reputation. It's where shared interests, needs, and voluntary participation are what creates groups and communities, not obligation under an assumed duty or threat of violence. A strong America, as I envision it perfectly, would have a government so small it becomes a myth to society that it had ever existed. It would be an America that protects its land borders from all enemies, foreign and domestic, without a government that monopolizes the necessary violence. Culture would become its main diplomatic weapon, and the industry created by deregulation would make America as a nation self-sustaining and wealthy, without the need for debt spending on poor infrastructure and pork barrel legislation. I hope I've gotten across fairly well where I stand politically. I do dabble in the anarcho philosophies, but I don't subscribe to them, as I'll probably get reamed for saying this, but there are not as many good examples in the post-industrial landscape of a true Hoppe-like society that I'd like to point to. I despise the Libertarian Party. They do not prop up the ideals that make them fundamentally what they claim to be, particularly in the case of private property and ethical voluntarism, or the NAP. A party that does not support intellectual property rights, but supports the murder of the unborn, is not libertarian. It is socialistic in nature. And if there is any ideology I'd like to see ground into the dirt, it is every system of thought spawned from Karl Marx's fan fictions. Aside from politics, I might also discuss philosophy and homesteading, both of which I have a deep passion for. Dipping into radical political philosophy is always enjoyable, and I'd like to start one-on-one discussions as well as debates with individuals who endorse these beliefs to get a better picture of the underground political scene. Anyways, that's the summary of what to expect from this channel. I will be creating other channels on BitChute and Odyssey soon, so stay on the lookout for this channel elsewhere. I need to hedge if YouTube decides what I say is verboten. I'll also start a Subscribestar and try to set up a crypto wallet. That's proven to be a little weirder than I thought it'd be. You think that'd be a lot more simple, but whatever. There will be no Patreon for this channel, only Subscribestar. Politically purging clients is bad business, and Patreon will get none of mine. Thanks for your time, fellas. Now go make some money, scumbag.
Gonna build a castle.